I'm going to quickly walk through how to solve a high-low problem for the BEC portion of the CPA exam. So it's a three-step process, and the questions will come in different formats, but we're going to walk through how to do those three steps and where they're going to try to trick you up. So the first one here is the scariest looking one I've seen, and you can see they've put all this stuff over here on the left, which has nothing to do with high-low, and they're hoping to trick you up or psychologically make you think that if you just have any doubt on how to do these problems, that it involves something with these numbers and you don't know and you're just going to guess or move on. So none of that's relevant. Right over here is what we need. So if we come over here, what we're going to first do is determine the highest value and the lowest value based on the hours of activity. We're not using the cost. That's where they're going to try to trick you at first. They're going to possibly put the lowest cost value on like this line here, the highest one this one here, and hope that you choose based on the cost column rather than the activity column. But we know that we're going to be choosing based on the activity level, and so we've identified those here: 300 in April, 520 in August. The second step down here is now to calculate the slope based on those two values that we identified. So we're going to do 4470 minus 2820. It's going to give us 1650. And then 520 minus 300, that'll give us 220. So we've started with the cost over here on the right side. We've done that first. We've done the hours of activity second. And now we're going to take 1650 at cost in the numerator, 220 in the denominator. That gives us a slope of 7.5. And so that completes step 2. And now on other problems, you'll see that they're hoping you stop right there on the second step. But for the third step, now we need to calculate that y-intercept. So how to do this is we're just going to take the slope here and we're going to times it by one of these high-low line items. So it doesn't matter which one. It can be the 520 or the 300. We're going to times it by 520 here. It gives us 3,900, and then we'll subtract the total cost here of 4470. And that gives us 570. If we were to do this the other way with the other one, 7.5 times 300, 2250 minus 2820, and that also gives us 570. So now we know that the slope is going to be 7.5 right here, and this, and the y-intercept is going to be 570. So that's that one. Let's see, 22. So this is another one, how it would look. So they're asking for what is the estimated variable order filling cost component per order. So they're trying to trick you with the terminology there, but basically what we're looking for is high-low method right here. Once we see that, we know exactly what we need to do. So we're going to identify the high and low over here, 1800 and 1200. 4320 minus 3120, that gives us 1200. 1800 minus 1200 is going to give us 600. 1200 over 600 will give us 2. Okay, and so that's the answer right there. It's 2. They want us to stop right there on step 2. Okay, here's another one. Looks similar, except for this one, they want us to go all the way to step 3. So we're looking here. We see expects machine hours for the month of May to be 1,400 using the high-low method. What is the expected total cost for the month of May? So we have to figure out all 3 steps and then get the answer. So we're going to highlight 2,600 and 1,600, and we're going to see that the associated cost of that is 1,200 and 800. So 1,200 minus 800 is 400. And then we can go ahead and just say we know it's going to be 400 over 1,000. So the slope is going to be 0.4. Now we'll times that by, let's do 2,600. Then we'll subtract 1,200. That gives us 160. And so now for the formula, we're going to come back to a slope of 0.4. And we'll multiply that by the 1,400 they give us here. And then we'll add in 160, and that gives us 720. All right, so let's finish this up with 24 over here. And you can see this made this pretty easy because we don't have anything to choose in step 1. We just simply have these 2 right here. So you can see it doesn't necessarily state high-low here, though. So we've got to be alert for that. it just says estimated cost. So to do this, again, 1600 minus 160 minus 132 is 28, and we can see that the difference over there is 20, so we're going to go 28 over 20, it's 1.4, and now we can times this by, let's do 60,000, so 84, and then subtract the 132 cost. That gives us 48. So if we were to do this on the other one, that would give us 112. So we just did a 1.4 slope times 80,000 here, give us 112, and then we're going to subtract this 160 right here. That gives us a fixed cost of 48,000. That's going to be our Y-intercept. So now we go to calculate this. We're going to come back to this slope figure of 1.4 times it by 75,000. That gives us 105. Then we have to add in the fixed cost of 48. That gives us 153.